Hello, Amplify You family. Welcome to our show. So excited to be here today for a Ask the Expert interview with Laura Burton. Laura is amazing. I met her a few weeks ago at the New Media Summit, and I feel like I've said that the last few interviews I've done with people. There was a lot of really incredible people at the New Media Summit. I highly recommend, if you're thinking about podcasting, to go check out the New Media Summit the next time. Hopefully we can do a live event again soon. Anyways, Laura was my partner there. We met, we got to collaborate on some things, and I got to learn so many great things about Laura. Laura is a marketing expert. She's so good at what she does, and she really helped me craft my pitch when I did at the New Media Summit. So that was really awesome. And I wanted to bring Laura on today to talk to you guys about what are some things we should be doing for marketing right now, and what are some things how we can like pivot and do our best marketing stuff with our podcasts, and also be sensitive of what's happening in the world currently. As we're recording here, we're still on lockdown for the coronavirus. So welcome,
Yes.
Laura. Thank you for being with
Thank
us.
you. Oh,
And
it's
the name
great to
of
be
your
here with
business
you.
is 416 Sales, right?
Yes, it is. It's great to be here. Thank you. And it was so much fun meeting you at the summit with everybody. I mean, it was, and I think we were one of the last live events that happened before everything just kind of got canceled. So we were
Yeah,
very, very, very fortunate to do that.
absolutely. Yeah, we were so lucky to get that, sneak that in, that event before we had to go home for who knows how long now. So tell me a little bit about your background. What made you get into marketing, and like how did you end up being in marketing?
Well, it was an interesting thing when I always sold. It just kind of was a natural thing. I learned it when I was a kid from my dad. I wanted to go out and do something, and I had to ask him because my mom was gone. And he was working and I had to interrupt him. I was really scared to talk to him and ask him a question, and I got shut down. Like I was in like a million pieces in a moment. You know, it was really bad. And he felt so crushed, I think, that he had just taken me down in like a second, that he called me back and he's like, do you really want to go and do what you were saying? I'm like, yeah, but you said no. He said, okay, no isn't no. And he gave me my first sales lesson. So I learned to be a negotiator and go into sales all along. Getting into internet marketing was really kind of by accident. I was looking for a job. I was married, and my husband said, why don't you go get a writing job? You love to write. And this internet marketing company was looking for project managers, and they put an ad on Craigslist in the writing section. They wanted someone who could be articulate, who could talk on the phone and write real grammar English sentences when they sent emails to clients. And I looked at this and I was like, I love talking on the phone and sending emails. Those are like my two favorite things. I'm the perfect fit for this job. And I was like, yeah, let me have this. So I ended up working there and learning so much. I got there in 2011, right before things started really, really changing with internet marketing. And it wasn't long before I ended up in sales and doing a lot of strategy with people, because I like to help people. And when things aren't working and I find out what they need, I make more money, but they also get what they need. So it kind of happened that way.
That's awesome. I love it. And so now you're doing this like back in 2011 when there was another major crisis in the world that happened. And so is that kind of feeling similar to what's going on as far as like sales and in the internet space right now?
Well, you know, this is a really different kind of thing than what happened before. One day, Google changed the rules in 2012. They came out with two black and white animals, the panda penguin, what I call the 1-2 punch, and people just disappeared from the first page, and their sales were just gone. And there was this, panic. I think a lot of people didn't really understand what was happening with small businesses between 2012 and 2014 with all of the different things that were going on. But a lot of small businesses really got impacted badly, and it hurt a lot of communities. And we went through a little bit of difficulty, but it wasn't really identified with this. This is literally, people are just being shut down. People just can't go to work. And it's a very different climate. I see a lot of opportunities. This has been going on for a few weeks now. So I think the initial stunning shock of, wait a minute, what just happened, and some of the difficulty, I think people are just kind of settling into, okay, I've got this routine, I'm working at home or I'm not working at home, what am I going to be doing? And I'm seeing a lot of people are now, since they've had time to think about their life a little bit differently,
Mm-hmm.
they're stepping in and saying, it's now time for me to start that new business I've been thinking about. that someday is now for them.
Mm-hmm.
And people are doing things differently, like real estate. They're using Zoom for virtual showings. People are using technology in different ways. And so I think there are a lot of people who are out doing things and who are customers and who are buying things. It's really a matter of understanding who you're marketing to and what your audience is. How have they been affected? What is going on with them?
That's a really good point, to really like think about your audience too. Like, who are they, and how have they been? Like, is your audience restaurant workers? Well, yeah, they're not going to be really like spending a lot of money right now because they all just lost their jobs, right? Whereas like if you're thinking about your audience, like for my particular audience of working with podcasters and podcast management, it's been very lucrative this last couple of weeks because a lot of people just want to have the more time to spend with their families because they're all of a sudden home with all their kids. So they're like, can you take over the podcast, please? Like, this is something that is going really well for us right now as an opportunity in this. But I'm seeing people online like still a little bit afraid. I think you're right, they're settling in right now, but I think they're still a little bit afraid to like do sales or make sales. What do you think about that?
It's an interesting thing. I love that are selling courses and doing trainings and a lot of coaches. And so I see all of the sales emails that are coming in, and I'm seeing a lot of different tactics. People are giving a lot of things for free. I just saw one that was really interesting. Tell us your budget and what you need, and we'll figure out what we can do for you based on your budget. And I have not seen before. That was a new one, and I thought that was really creative. I saw one email say, we're no longer going to be looking for experts. We're going to be looking for people who can just take care of things. And so there's a lot of people jockeying for position and how they're going to be putting themselves out there, which is really interesting. A lot of people are still buying. Mm-hmm. They're buying essentials in a lot of ways. And I would say they're being very selective in terms of how they're going on. From the internet marketing space, the people who are coming in, they want to have a voice. There are people now who are deciding it is time for me to get public. I need to step out. I need to do more. And so there have been a couple people where I've seen that, if they're an artist or if they're someone who's a human rights activist or somebody who is really an expert in a field that hasn't really wanted to step out too much, now they are. Now they're going to put themselves in a position where they're going to be in demand, where people are going to, where they get to be in the conversation. So one thing that Steve Olsher said at the New Via Summit, what conversation do you want to be a part of? Mm-hmm. And I think that is one of the best questions that a business owner can ask themselves when they're going to be looking at who they're serving, because the customer experience starts with the first time someone encounters you. How do you make someone feel? And how are they feeling in the process of working with you? And how are they feeling about what they just got? And people want better. That's sales. Sales hasn't changed. Sales is exactly the same as it was over 100 years ago and probably 100 years before that. We just have more books we can read from 100 years ago. And so when we're getting out there, it's a more caring environment. Someone was saying that helping is the new sales. Well, helping has always been sales.
Get out of that now, jeez, come on.
Yeah, when people need something, you make money when you have something that people want. There's a demand for it, and you're providing a service of some kind, whether you're feeding people, and now restaurants are getting into home delivery. If they're open, people are looking at, how can I serve you? I've heard some really cool stories of what businesses are doing to be creative. So I think the selling environment is very healthy right now, as long as you understand who you're selling to and what the reason is of why they're going to buy from you. Sorry, my Siri thing just went on. Saw this thing, turn off the sound. So, when you're looking, oh my gosh, seriously? Too funny.
Siri, you're not part of this conversation.
I know, it's like, where's she coming off? It's so funny. I never have my phone making noise in something like this, and now today it is, just to mess with me.
She just wants to be a part of the conversation.
I know. Well, she's asking questions. Well, I don't understand. Yeah, thank you. So, as long as you really think about, the normal sales approach of, hey, here I've got a special offer. is abrupt,
Mhm.
you know? And so
It's like, hey, you
that's,
want to marry me? Like,
yeah,
well, we date first.
yeah, you have some of that, but here I've got something free to give, and here I want to see what you need. That's a tactic that's been around for years, and it's been very, very effective. I think where a lot of people are trying to jockey for position is that there's a crowded space, and it's going to get more crowded. And I remember, the coaching world, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to come in and be coaches. There just are, because what do? Okay, I'm not going to go here. I have to come up with a service. How do I help people? Okay, I'm a coach. I don't have to get certified. I don't have to have the license. I don't have to spend a lot of money. I can slap up a web page and I'm good. So when you have an influx of people who are coming in, and this happened in the internet marketing world in 2014 in January, I remember I was on some sales calls, and a business guy said to me, he said, Laura, I don't know what just happened to your industry, but I now get 30 calls a week from internet marketing companies, and I probably get about 100 emails of companies. Everyone came on to be an expert. Everyone decided people need internet marketing. I'm going to be an internet marketer. I can be an expert. And so it just got flooded. And when you're in a competitive space, you have to really set yourself apart by doing the right thing, knowing that you can deliver something that's going to actually work, and have a lot of integrity and be reliable.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
And those yet sound so simple, yet I think those can take you really far. and the people that are
Yeah.
not in alignment with integrity and those kind of things and not reliable, they're just going to go by the wayside. Like, for an example, we live in a really small town, and there's tons of trades workers here, but like there's not many to choose from. And when you choose one and then they don't show up, like, oh my gosh, like that just gave all the competition to the other guy, right? Like, you got to be
Yeah.
reliable, you got to show up, you got to be in integrity, and that takes you a long way. Yeah.
It really does. And the reputation that you have, what's interesting now about being in business is that people feel that it's their duty to warn people if you are not a good provider of services or products. They will take to the internet and they will voice their concern. And, when you take care of people and do the right thing, and sometimes people don't mean to mess up. I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to screw up my client's stuff today. I don't think it's something that they mean. Maybe they get too busy, or maybe something comes up and they just don't know how to communicate something, and they'd rather not try to communicate it. They're just try to fix it or see if it'll just go away, and then, things should be fine. But when you tell people what's going on and you give them a realistic expectation of what they're getting into in the process, and then you're there with them as a partner, you're always reassuring your client. I was actually talking to a girl today because, there was a new client that was working on a project, and when she was talking to him, she sounded tired and she wasn't really energetic, and she didn't give him a good feeling, and he wanted to bail on it. He wanted to cancel because she hadn't made him feel good. When you are in business, you are constantly reassuring your customer. You are constantly, and the reason too is because they're going to have 5 other companies minimum trying to sell them what you do, and trying to waiting for you to make mistakes so that they can take you, get your client away from you. So the personal relationship that you have with people is everything. And even if you don't have anything in particular that you have to sell, if you just do the best that you possibly can, whatever you do, to just do the right thing for people and really be there for people, something will show up for you that they're going to want you to help with. I've had so many people want to, I would love you to come work for me. I'd love you to come do this. I'd love you to come do that, because I care a lot about people, and I will spend a lot of time with people. And it's like, okay, so yeah, I can help you with this project. I can do this for you. And then I get clients, and then it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for us podcasters that are like sitting out here with our voices out there, what are some strategies that are working right now that we can maybe utilize in you marketing our podcast and putting our podcast out there in a better way? Because I feel like the message a lot of us are giving is that like helping people and being giving, and hopefully that's attracting the right people into our world. So any other suggestions of things that we should be doing?
I think that networking with people and making connections when you have a guest on, really talk to them about how they can promote what they're doing to their people, because you're sharing their audience at that point. So making sure that you have a system in place to do that. If you're going to, get out there and you want to do something with ads, or you want to be posting, be creative, set up a system where, let's say you have an email list. Okay.
Mhm.
When you've done an interview, let people know about the interview. When it's going to be posting, let them know about the interview, and take that content and put it out on all the social media channels that you can. Make sure that you're taking your podcast and you are dicing it up into different segments. Arrange your show so that you have your hour-long show or your half-hour show. You have 2 15-minute videos. You've got your quotables. You've got your things that you can do that are going to work really well. Because when you have that, what happens is you're distributing content in other places, and that's going to get you seen more. The more you're there with links and things like that, the better. It's just going to work for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like creating that omnipresence, that like the appearance that you are everywhere, even though you're
Yeah.
I mean, that's something we really feel passionate about too at Amplify You, is like just the repurposing, redistributing your content like everywhere. And I love what you just said. And I just want to bring this point back up again, just in case people missed it. So when you're creating your show, really think about ways that you can create and segment your show so that's really easy to chop up afterwards. So how we're kind of doing our interview right now is kind of like a longer interview, and it's going to be a bigger chunk of like 20 to 30 minutes. Now, some things that we could do outside of this is we could do maybe, a rapid fire question answer at the end where I ask you 5 questions, you answer 5 questions, and we could split all 5 of those up into little video bits or little quotes or little tweetables. Or at the beginning of the show, I could do maybe 2 tips for something, or I could ask you specific questions that draws out specific kind of like content that you can cut up and utilize in different ways. Too. So I just wanted people to really listen to that, like how you structure your show right from the beginning is going to
Mm-hmm.
really help you market it a lot better on the back end. So thank you for saying that, Laura.
Yeah, and promoting your guests is a really good thing because you want them to promote the interview, but what I find is promoting other people is something that is received very, very well. If I'm busy talking about me, 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 a lot of times it's like, okay, we heard you. Yeah. But share this really great expert with me. Tell me about this other person. And when you're talking about what's happening today, even for people who are just sitting home, with their kids and they're not used to it. It was funny, there was a mom and she's like, for all you people who don't have kids at home during this COVID quarantine, tell me, do you get to take naps on Saturday? Do you get to do what you want all day long? Because people are like, they're homeschooling their children. They're not used to that. So it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, even it's hard to like record podcast interviews with everyone here too. Right? And I'm sure our podcasters are feeling that with their, not only are we like, mom, now we're mom and also business mom and also teacher and also, and also trying to record good content as an expert too. It's pretty tricky. So it's a lot of
Yeah.
hats that we have to wear right now. And I think just being gentle with ourselves and being okay with like not producing at 110 speed as normal. I think this is kind of the nice kind of opportunity for us to kind of, like you said, mentioned earlier, take a look and reevaluate what we're doing. Are we serving the people we really want to be serving? And are we serving them in the best way? And maybe
Mhm.
can we pivot to do something else? Are you seeing a lot of businesses pivot and offer different kinds of products and services? I know you mentioned the delivery drivers or the restaurants turning into delivery. Are you seeing anything else in like the online space that has been some good ideas?
Well, one thing that really struck me, I think I may have mentioned before, realtors are doing virtual showings now with Zoom.
Mhm.
And it's the contingency on the contract is that they get to see the house before they're actually going to buy it, but everything is being done virtually. And I think that people are finding ways to, there's, for people who are not used to working at home, when you're really focused and you have a disciplined work environment for yourself, you're actually more productive, because at an office there are all these distractions and things like that. So I think in some ways people are going to find that they are more productive.
Yeah.
And people who haven't, like, a lot of people are jumping in to get help with social media right now, because if somebody really doesn't like technology and has been kind of going, oh, I don't want to do that, they're going to love it, and they're going to be thinking, okay, this is my lifeline, where they didn't have to before. So I think being able to use the social channels that we have, being able to use the meeting tools that we have, and coordinating that way, I think that's going to be different. We're probably going to see more virtual summits, because live events are being
I've
canceled.
noticed that this week already. I was like, there's so many virtual summits this week, whether they were already pre-planned or not. But I think there was a lot more going on, because that was a trend that was kind of fading a little bit for a while there, right? It wasn't as popular. Now all of a sudden it's
Yeah. And you have a lot of live trainings, and there are people who are still doing product launches, and they're launching their classes and everything like that. And, for the people who, as much as there are people who are out of work right now, there are probably more people who are just working from home. So a lot of people's cash flow haven't been disrupted completely as much as some others. There are businesses that are losing a lot of clients because of what's going on, because of the ripple effect. But again, maybe instead of only offering something that's high ticket, maybe there is something that you offer that is a lower price point that's offered online that people can do. So it's really reinventing. I heard of one company. This was actually really cool. I was interviewing he was interviewing me as a financial planner that I work with. And in Utah, there's a company that does craft stuff for kids. And they created these craft bags and let people know on social media, hey, we'll come drop this off at your house, and this is activities for you to do with your children, and we'll spray it with Lysol. We'll make sure it's all disinfected for you, but call us up, and you can buy this, and you've got activities, which is people need.
Exactly. Like, there's so many businesses that are pivoting, but I think just getting more creative. Like, I think we were mentioning before we pressed record, my brother and his partner teach online after, or they teach in person after school programs for kids about entrepreneurship skills. And now they're pivoted to now teaching them online with the kids. And it's been great actually for us, because we're too far away from their like physical location. So now my son's been joining in them couple hours a day. It's been fantastic. It's really cool. So I think we're going to see some new types of offerings from businesses, right? Like the company dropping off the crafts. That could be a new business. That could be a whole new way of doing your business. And I think we're going to see some really neat things come out of this. And like you said, for those of us that go into high ticket stuff, well, maybe now turn the tables and do something low ticket or something else. I love the idea of just continuously thinking, how else can we serve the people that we want to serve, and what else can we do for them, and what are they needing right now? When normally they're in the office space, but now they're at home, and what do they need now? Well, now they need technology. Thank God for Zoom, right? Everybody is using Zoom. And I think that's a really great thing to just keep in mind. And I don't think we can go wrong in our businesses with just looking for different ways to serve and help and be supportive, right? I think there's going to be a lot more people that are going to need some programs on how to run an online business, how to do digital marketing, right? I think maybe pivoting from having clients to maybe teaching is some things that some of us that are technical could start doing too.
Absolutely. And one thing to keep in mind when you get online, make sure that whatever page you're going to send people to, like if you have a website that they're going to go to, if you have even a LinkedIn profile, make sure that it's set up for conversion. Make sure that your messaging is right. And it's better to get help with that. If you can outsource something and find a professional who can do it better than you, it's going to help your business, because you're going to look better.
Yeah.
And some people may think, well, wait a minute.
And it'll save you some time too.
Yeah, well, you want to buy your time back by hiring someone else. And also, you're always going to be a work in progress. I always feel like I'm always a work in progress. And as things change, I'm having to, I'm doing some different things right now as well. And the fun thing about it is that this is new, and we're creating new things that are going to work better for people, which is great. And you want people to really be able to see who you are and see what you do and identify, wait a minute, she can help me. He can help me. I need that. Okay. And then make it accessible, make it a low barrier entry. It's not like you have to give everything away because no one's going to buy from you right now, but give them a piece that they can start with, and then give them the next thing that they can do. Make it easy for them to get moving in the direction that they need to. Help them set that goal. Help them see where they need to go and why. And then everything can come together from there.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really great point. Thank you, Laura, for that. And any last, where can we find out more information about you? Where can we find out how we work with you? And what kind of things can you do with us?
Perfect. If you go to 416sales.com, I have a free ebook that I would love you to get. It's 12 secret sales hacks that have stood the test of time. And it goes back 100 years or more, taking some sales knowledge that has been handed down generation to generation, and you'll recognize everything that's being taught from today from where it came from 100 years ago. And it really will give business people an understanding of what they need to do to be successful, and what's involved, and how to stay committed and determined and persistent in what you're doing. And then from there, you can set up a 30-minute free consultation with me, and we can talk strategy, and we can talk, what do you need to do in internet marketing? Not everything has to be paid for when you're doing internet marketing, but sometimes it makes sense to do that. Mm-hmm. And so to really help you understand, what can I do now? I think that's the big question. Now what is the thing that people are asking? And so I would love to spend 30 minutes with anybody who has to answer now what, and help them figure out what now. Yeah, and put that together. If someone, so they can do that, and 416sales.com.
I love it. And such an easy website too. 416 sales. What does 416 stand for? I'd love to know.
Okay, so I needed to create a DBA back a couple of years ago, and my street address was 416 Mockingbird Lane. And so I was like, okay, 416 sales, we can do that. I'm doing sales, why not?
Good thing it wasn't 420 sales, because that would be just a whole different industry, right?
It would be really, really different, yeah. And someone said to me, too bad it's not 316, for, John 316. I was like, well, it's okay. That number works.
I like 416. That's good. I wonder if that's a good numerology kind of number. It probably is. That's awesome.
I'm sure, yeah, it'll be what I make it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you, Laura, for sharing your knowledge, and make sure you guys go 416sales.com, check it out, connect with Laura, and she's offering you guys 30 minutes to just figure out what's next, how to pivot, what to look for, how to serve your clients better, especially in crazy times like we're in right now. So make sure you connect with Laura. And Laura, thank you so much for being with us today. And we'll stay tuned next time, guys. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much.